Shenty, number 52.
One of the base plays for the Army football team is this quarterback ISO from off their triple option play. And, one of the things that Dixon does well is block. So even if he can't carry the ball a lot with that hurt wrist, he's still valuable as a blocker.
Trenton Turrentine, running back on the right side.
Going on, ladies and gentlemen. Oh man, it feels so good to be back live right here on BronxNet. It's been a great week between last Tuesday and this Tuesdays. We had the Beta Awards, and I mean, of course, Real Fans, Real Talk. We stomping with the big dog still. We got a couple of awards that we added to the trophy case. But before we get into that and all of the news that's going on in the sports world, let me introduce my co-host to my right, Mark the Statman Skevich.
Great to be back for another live episode of Real Fans, Real Talk. I'm wearing my Giants jersey. Yes, I realize they are pretty much done with their playoffs hopes, but I tend to support the team regardless, even after a loss. But we are winners out here on Real Fans, Real Talk. 2 more Beta Awards to add to the collection. Best talk show and best TV series 2 years in a row. And part of that crew, of course, is the one and only Sean Fontaine, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. I'm back in here talking sports with you guys on a Tuesday. I haven't been here for a few weeks. Been working a lot. But how about those Cowboys?
The suspended
how about
for
those
the
Seminoles?
I mean,
I'm here.
They're doing pretty well. But I mean, listen, Fontaine, I know you wanted to actually. We didn't get a chance to actually get your acceptance speech at the betas because you were all over the place. Yeah. I know the fans at home. I mean, we always shouted you out and showed you love. But at the same time, I know, that you want to get your moment with holding the actual plaque and, sharing some words with the folks at home and just getting that whole, get your whole thank yous out. You got your entourage with you and whatnot. I know how, you get a little Hollywood when you are out in the streets like that. And, so I want to just give you that opportunity to say some things. So with that being said, Sean Fontaine, I know it's been a rough week for you, but I mean this is Real Fans, Real Talk. We have rough weeks all of the time, and like Statman said, the Giants did have a rough week, but I'm still gonna be in support of the team. I got the Giants hat on. I see you got the jersey on, and we still got to keep things hopeful because I mean we wouldn't be fans if we didn't at least, keep things hopeful, keep the spirits up in regards to our sports teams. One thing I will say, though, in regards to this whole Giants, Cowgirls thing, is that, you guys really aren't relevant right now. Tony Romo, I mean, he has one playoff win. I mean, Eli Manning has more Super Bowl victories than Tony Romo actually have playoff wins. But you know what? Let's not get into that right now. Sean Fontaine, I'm gonna the plaque. One of the plaques is in front of you. Want you to grab that and say your thank yous, man.
I want to say thank you to you guys out there watching us every Tuesday. It's just simple. We're great, and we wouldn't be great without you guys, and that's that. Thank Mom, thank God, thank everybody, And once again, we had some technical difficulties, but how about those Cowboys? Once again, we are relevant, and the Giants are out of the playoffs. So I'm assuming that you guys are going to be Jets fans now. That's what it seems like to me.
Well,
because Dirty Sanchez is doing this thing out in Philly, so we definitely can't be Phillies fans, Philadelphia Eagles fans. And the Jets beat the Steelers this past weekend. So I mean, you can root for somebody in New York, quite possibly. Not the Giants right now. So
I mean, do you see the jersey and the hat? Do you see us jumping ship?
Yeah. No one's wavering right now without picks. Just want you to know that.
You have a real crispy new hat too. So
exactly. So I just went out and just bought this just to show that we're not just backing down. Like this Giants thing is for real.
And we can play you guys again soon.
Exactly. And we're gonna beat you guys. Again.
Meanwhile,
when we talk about the division, the NFC East, the Giants have more Super Bowl rings in my lifetime than any other team in that division.
Lifetime?
And plus, in my lifetime.
What are you, team?
What are you talking about?
He has some years on him.
We
yes.
have 4. The Cowgirls have
In
3.
your lifetime?
Yeah.
Yeah, since you've been around and old enough to actually watch your team in the Super Bowl.
Out of here.
I'm just saying, what have you done lately?
Okay.
And
whatever.
aside from that, current events, we still have the best name out of the division, because then you think Giants, then you got fly Eagles, fly, and then you have the racist Redskins, Washington with their racist name, and Cowboys.com kind of says it all for you guys. I mean, Jerry Jones getting blackmailed, not paying the money, now it's a gay dating website and everything, so.
That sums it up.
Yeah, so I'm still proud to wear my Giants jersey, but moving along, we did have a Monday night game last night. Dirty Sanchez did what I actually had some faith in him. I'm happy for him, but at the same time, the fact that it's the Eagles and the division rivals, I mean, you obviously wanted them to lose, but he definitely did his thing. It's the first time in his entire career that he threw for more than 300 yards, got multiple touchdowns, and didn't have a turnover.
You can't call him Dirty Sanchez after that game.
You know
But it's the first time it happened. His completion percentage is 55%. His career completion percentage is 55% too.
Well, he
The
actually
difference
has
is
some weapons.
he has some weapons, exactly. So even though they're not short yardage situations, he doesn't have he's not held back. Chip Kelly lets him throw deep when he needs to, and
I have one problem with it though, and this is what happens when the backup quarterbacks come in. They tend to throw to the receivers that they've had the most time in practice with, which took away from my man Jeremy Maclin this past week. And I'm being selfish right now for
last
football
week Sanchez connected with him for a touchdown.
Week, but I mean, I still managed to edge out a victory this week, but it was kind of close because I only got 5 points for Maclin. So Sanchez, you're gonna have to find a way to get the ball back to Jeremy Maclin.
Defense helped me out a whole lot because I'm in a few fantasies. So my second fantasy, that actually ended up scoring somewhere around 30-some-odd points or 20. It was just crazy, but it helped me out a lot. So, I am a realist. I am a Cowboys fan, but at the end of the day, we got to, this is real fans, and we have to watch the sports and know what's what and pick the right teams and pick the right people. So it helped me out. I appreciate you.
That is true. That is most.
It is a little awkward, though, that the Jets get rid of Sanchez and the Eagles sign him. The Eagles get rid of Vic, and then Vic gets signed by the Jets, and both of them get their first win starting, and it's an impressive performance on both ends. What do you think about Michael Vick? He was asked the question, and if you check the archives on Real Fans Real Talk, I was saying that if you want to have a chance for the playoffs, you go with Vic right from the beginning. I've been saying that from the beginning. I was saying how the team would rally around him. He's a veteran. Some of these guys on the team used to watch him in high school and use his character in Madden in the video game, and he's an idealistic figure for his teammates. And sure enough, they had their offensive line problems, but I knew once Michael Vick was at the helm that the rest of the players would step up, and that's exactly what happened with a big upset against the Steelers. Roethlisberger 2 weeks in a row, 6 touchdowns, and
I don't think anybody saw this one coming.
At all.
No, definitely not.
The way that defense was pursuing it was crazy. But I actually had a conversation with a few Jets fans, and it seems like that's the Jets kind of come to play when the Steelers come to town.
Yeah.
So I mean,
that's a nice little rivalry there.
Exactly. So I mean, it's not like we kind of didn't expect it, but Vic came in the game and they gave him a whole different dynamic. You have somebody with more confidence. He has more composure and stuff like that versus Gino, he's young, he's still learning, but they wanted to stick to their guns, and they kind of wisened up, and Vic is in there.
He's a veteran too.
There you go.
You can't forget that he's been in the league for some time now. He's not Atlanta Falcons Michael Vick, just like flying into the end zone.
Yeah.
He's not that, but he can still run with the football, and he's a lot smarter than Geno Smith right now. Now, Geno Smith can definitely improve, but I just think with the Jets team the way it is, they're not good enough for him to win the way that Michael Vick can win because he's a lot smarter and he has that experience. Whereas Geno Smith just coming into the league, he hasn't really, played on this level. And on top of that, they don't have an offensive line. He barely has any receivers out there. I mean, Eric Decker was a good pickup, but when you don't have enough time to actually get the ball out of your hands, it kind of makes it harder. The running game has pretty much been spotty. Chris Johnson is not what he was, back in Tennessee.
Got like 2 or 3 backs. Ivory,
They got Ivory, who was playing decent, but he's been kind of up and down this season as well. So it gets kind of rough. But Michael Vick is a guy who can step in, and he's smart enough to make the right decision when the players may not be good enough or they just can't get it done. He can actually step in and kind of make something happen.
Chris Johnson, definitely a disappointment for the Jets. I expected a little bit more out of him. But back to the question, Michael Vick, he said that he felt that they would have won more games in the press conference. Obviously, he's just answering the question, being confident in himself, so I'm not going to hate on him for that. He also did mention we didn't have Percy Harvin before, so he did throw that in there. But do you think that if Vic started the season from game 1, what would their record have been?
That's hard to say because, I mean, there's certain games like Broncos, I don't think they would have won regardless. Patriots, I don't think they could beat the Patriots, and definitely, even now, I still don't think they could beat the Patriots with Vic at quarterback. I mean, they played the Chargers. The Chargers were hot at the time. Phillip Rivers was, a front runner for MVP at that point in the season. So
before he just fell off the planet.
So that could have went either way because I don't know what exactly was his fall off point. So you can't really tell with that one. So, I mean, maybe I'll give them 1 or 2 more wins, but I still don't think that it would be, a huge difference because the team still is bad. It's not like Michael Vick is not the savior. He's just somebody that can win you more games than Geno Smith can.
Or possibly help him win more convincing games, to say the least. Because Geno, they did win some games this year. It's not like they lost every game. But yeah, Geno, Vic coming into the game is definitely giving them another weapon and, possibly winning some more convincing games instead of having to grind out so many games.
Milestone for Michael Vick. He was already the all-time leading rusher in the quarterback position. He reaches 6,000 yards. Do you guys think, now that he paved the way for a lot of younger guys like Russell Wilson, Colin Kaepernick, do you think anyone will pass that 6,000-yard mark?
Well, it won't be Geno Smith. I know that because he ain't going to get enough time in there. And if Carolina does not get, Cam Newton some receivers and some protection, it won't be him because he's just not going to be healthy enough after, he got hit, I believe it was 500 times this season. Yeah. So, I can't really call it in that regard. But
we also got to consider Michael Vick with the jail time, the fact that he was
but who's running
a lot
like
of injuries.
Right, we haven't seen anybody that runs like Vic was running.
Possibly Kaepernick, if they kind of get over their woes, all these people getting in trouble on that side of town. You could possibly say Kaepernick of RG3, he just can't stay healthy. He's the new glass
Russell
Wilson
Joe more than Kaepernick because I don't think Kaepernick runs as much. He has the ability, he has the speed. But Russell Wilson,
that playoff record,
more,
Kaepernick, but still at the same time, Kaepernick, I don't know, he's not very consistent. He might not have the starting role in 2 years.
Yeah, exactly. Russell Wilson is going to be
another new buck coming in,
and he's had a couple 100-yard plus rushing games too. He had one a couple of weeks ago, so I definitely think if anybody, it would be Russell Wilson. Because he actually runs enough with the football, and he's somebody who stays healthy as well. So with Michael Vick, losing those 2 years, like you said, to prison, and then just how his career has been going, it's kind of been spotty.
On and off
That's
injuries.
that baseball play in him. He learned how to slide.
Yeah.
And, Cam Newton, I think, would be the more obvious choice as far as if he will pass that 6,000-yard mark. But that depends whether he stays healthy. He took a little bit of a beating yesterday. There was a little bit of a controversy. Should they have left him in the game with the blowout game? What do you guys think?
Almost definitely not. Cam Newton is a very young quarterback. You see who they lost. They lost the whole secondary last year. They lost some weapons on offense or whatever. And the way he's getting
Smith, LaFell both going.
Exactly. And the way he's getting smacked around, and that's somebody that you want for the long haul. You paying him a lot of bucks,
He's definitely not going to break the Vic record. There was if you keep doing it that way, but there was an interesting stat. It's something like if Cam Newton rushes 10 or more times, their winning percentage is like 75% throughout his career. If he rushes 10 or less, it's like 35%, somewhere around there. So, I mean, they need to use him utilizing
and that's a big talk. You talking about 6'5" running down the field,
and he's one of the best scrambling quarterbacks. You know, when he's running the football, but that offensive line is so horrible that you really kind of can't run the football with him. You got to just try to get rid of the football a little bit more because they're not protecting, they're not creating any kind of holes. So it's he's just getting hit time and time again, which is going to put him out.
In order for him to have longevity, he needs to calm it down a little bit, and he needs to have some protection. The coach said that he feels that, if Cam Newton is that franchise quarterback, we want, almost like in a sense sensing his toughness. Like, the game was out of reach, but he's still the guy, and can he handle these situations? I think that's just stupid, plain and simple. You're going to put your franchise quarterback at risk to test how tough he is in a game where you have no chance of winning.
And you're not making the playoffs this year at this rate, with the way they've been playing. So you might as well just pull them. They got to get better. They got to get that offensive line better, because he's going to get injured. If not, he started the season, hurt, and this is not any help the way that he's getting hit. There's a couple of other injuries, season-ending. Carson Palmer, Cardinals quarterback, is done for the year with a torn ACL, and also Patrick Willis, 49ers, is also done for the year, big toe injury. Look like that toe, and I'm gonna get you, sucker. That's how his toe look right now. So he's gonna be done for the season. I don't know, man. These 49ers, they are feeling it right now. Injury bug, plus all the suspensions. It's not a good look in San Fran right now. I don't think they could make play because this is a huge loss. You're talking about maybe the best linebacker in football, So I don't know if the 49ers can come back from that one.
Yeah, it's tough as it is because they're in a division with Arizona and Seattle. Yes, Arizona just lost their starting quarterback, but at the same time, they already have a huge head start, and they can play with their backups. We've seen that already.
He had a pretty good record earlier this season. Carson Palmer was out, so I don't think they'll fall off too much. And he also has 3 really good receivers out there to help out. So, and they have a decent offensive line, so he'll get protection. He's won with them, so I don't think it'll affect him too much. But like you said, they're definitely ahead. They have a huge lead in the NFC.
Not even just that, these last few years, a lot of the case of the backups, a lot of those guys been real good.
Yeah.
So, they might fall subject to that same kind of thing, and the backup quarterback may be the guy just to keep it rolling, we really haven't seen the Cardinals play this good in a long time,
Yeah, exactly. Since Kurt Warner.
Maybe Aeneas Williams, when those guys played back in the day. So it's like, seeing these guys play like that is real good. And hopefully that backup can come in there and keep that ball rolling.
I would love to see Kurt Warner with these 3 wide receivers in Arizona. They might have beat the Steelers. They had these 3 kids out there because any one of them can go for 100-plus yards any given Sunday. And they like to spread the ball around out there, and that's both quarterbacks. So I think they'll still be in good shape.
The league is also making it easier for quarterbacks, but there's an interesting stat: 242.5 yards is the league average in passing yards this season thus far, which would be the record since the merger in 1970. But there's several factors with backups. Aside from it being a passing league and it being a little bit easier for them, the team that they're coming into doesn't know what to expect out of that particular quarterback. They don't prepare for him. So that first game that they come back, number one, they're looking for a starting role, whether it's with their current team or with another team for on contract years, etc. So they're going out there, they're sitting there on the sidelines waiting for that opportunity, and they're going to play all out because they want to make. Look at Flynn with 7 touchdowns in that game a few years ago with the Packers having the franchise record just because it was a meaningless game and Aaron Rodgers came out. That's what got him paid. Seattle picked him up as a starter. That's what's still getting him paid. Exactly. He ends up being back to the backup role, but he did get signed by Seattle. And then obviously Russell Wilson beat him out for the position because they realized that was just a little bit of a fluke there with the 7 touchdowns. But
I think it's too, the system that you're in. So a lot of these guys, where they play well in one system, they go to another system and they just don't pick it up that fast, or they're just not good in that system, and that's the system that the team wants to run with. So if the other quarterback, in this case Russell Wilson, is actually better at playing that role, he's going to get the starting job. Mm-hmm. But he's still getting checks from it. So
hey man, somebody's kids are getting their college paid for.
Exactly.
So that's all that matters at the end of the day.
Exactly. So, but there is another injury. The Broncos, the second running back, Hillman, who's been doing great filling in the role. Now they're down to their third string because he's going to be out 2 to 3 weeks. Do you think that's going to have any effect whatsoever on the Broncos, or they just have too many weapons where it's not even going to matter?
Nothing is going to affect the Broncos except the playoffs. That's the only thing that's going to affect the Broncos.
Or if Peyton Manning goes down.
Yeah, or if Peyton Manning goes down. If one of those two things, that's it. Nothing else is going to affect the Broncos. They just have too many weapons, too many receivers out there. Peyton Manning is the greatest regular season quarterback of all time. I don't think he's touchable outside of when he goes to Foxborough or to Seattle. But any place outside of those two cities, Peyton is unstoppable.
Also, there was some word that they might sign Richie Incognito.
They went against it.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, hey, well, there that go. Well,
they didn't want to take on the headache. They actually just shut that down today. So he will not be playing for the Broncos. But we have some playing that's been going on in the NBA. The new Big Three. They are finally starting to click, and they clicked in a big way last night. LeBron James led the way. And speaking of LeBron James,
I was thinking
man, this is a little gift because you did lose shot for shot.
Yeah, I mean, you thankfully it slipped your mind, so at least I got to wear the Giants jersey for the opening of the show. But
and then we'll get into your patented "It's a LeBron Thing" T-shirt because he did have a triple-double last night, his first of the season. 32 points, 12 rebounds, 10 assists.
Despite that performance, I feel a little bad for him. He almost seems a little bit of depressed now because he's hitting the age 30 blues is what's happening because he's saying, "I'm sorry that I can't go above the rim anymore. Like his vertical leap isn't the same." And he's like, I don't know. When you hit 30, I guess you start getting depressed or something. I don't know. Start feeling a little.
I don't know. This is kind of what he needed to kind of get it clicking because before he has been having some subpar games, and he wants to get everybody involved. So, and maybe it is him being 30. But
I don't know. I don't see the same type of person that I hate. I almost feel bad for him. He's not like coming out there cocky or anything.
Yeah, I feel like he wants to get everybody involved. I know he walked into a situation where it's like you have established superstars. Kevin Love is playing like he's in Minnesota still. Kyrie Irving is still playing like his normal stuff, like he's still in U.S. basketball mode. It's just him. He just had to step up and just play.
It's a different team.
He doesn't have a veteran mentor like Dwayne Wade anymore. He's that guy. He doesn't have him to look for advice or anything. So that's a key factor as well. They say the average career prime is age 27. That's a statistical thing. I mean. Yeah. LeBron James doesn't look like he's fallen off. I'm not going to go that far. He was a candidate for MVP last year, and I don't see him. I mean, he just put a triple-double together. So, I mean,
LeBron James is definitely not falling off. This is just a different team that we're looking at. This is a lot younger team, so he has to play a different role with this team to kind of get those guys to the level where he's at because, Kevin Love, who's an all-star and maybe the best power forward in the league, whether you take him or Blake Griffin, he hasn't been to the playoffs yet. Neither has Kyrie Irving. So you're talking about two relatively young guys. So he has 82 games to prepare them for what's going to come in the playoffs because they're definitely going to make the playoffs. So he has to prepare them for that. And that's the new role that he's taking on. Whereas in, Miami, Wade has championship experience before you get there. Bosh has been to the playoffs before. And, and they're older. They were older than these guys. I mean, Kyrie Irving is, 20, 21 right now?
He's very young.
Kevin Love is 25. So these are younger guys. So he has to take on that leadership role and get them to a championship.
No, he can't do it being a Debbie Downer or Buzz Killington being sad all the time in his interviews and comments. I mean, I can't even hate on him. I almost feel bad for him a
You know
little bit.
what? That could be, him not wanting to put more pressure on to Kyrie and Kevin Love, because there's already, once you join teams with LeBron James, the amount of pressure that's on your shoulders to win automatically increases. So it could be, a situation where he's like, well, let me kind of downplay what's going on to get these guys confidence level to where they need to be to get to that elite playoff team, championship team mentality, because they don't have that. They don't have that championship swag just yet.
He's not going full force, and I know like a week ago they were showing how he was kind of not motivated at all out there on the court, and he was trying to say that he almost did it on purpose to try to say to the other guys, if you play like this, then we're not going to win. Like, how does you not hustling motivate?
Well, in all honesty, that kind of happened when he was out in Miami, because you saw when he wasn't playing on all cylinders, everybody was just coasting. Shot goes up, everybody's running back down the court. Nobody's trying to go to the rack. So, I mean, I kind of understand where he's coming from, but it's like I think he can, get his message across in a better way.
Yeah, like leading by example. Like,
it's all about your T-shirt. It's that, man. It's a LeBron thing you wouldn't understand.
I don't think anybody understands LeBron James right now.
Yeah, because I'm going to be honest with you, I haven't, and I'm a LeBron fan, I haven't really been, and I'm still a Heat fan, by the way. I haven't really been just enthused by watching him play. Like, it's just like he's out there just feeling his way. Like, he's just that freshman in high school that's good enough to play on varsity, and he doesn't want to do anything to make anybody take him out of the game. You're LeBron James. You're the greatest player in the league right now. Take over the game and do what you got to do.
They have to build that chemistry, too.
Well, that too. That's
the other thing.
Is there a lingering injury that's out there or something? Because he says, I'm going to be in the lineup. I'm not 100, I can't go above the rim, but he says, I'm in the lineup and I'll contribute however I can or something like that. Is there something where this guy needs a few days off or something? I don't get it. Like,
go and get you an energy drink, all right, and figure it out.
Yeah, he'll be okay. They're starting to win right now. Things are picking back up. I mean, they had a huge win last night because Anthony Davis has been playing like the MVP of this season. Definitely. He's somebody that's definitely gonna step into elite status very, very soon, because he's dominating on both sides of the basketball, and they have a good young team around him. Drew Holiday, All-Star. So I think that they are going to be a good team with the years to come. They need a little more experience under them. But
the Cavs did have a huge loss, though, on homecoming for LeBron James. The Knicks ruined that parade real quick. I told you, once that happens, you will never hear the end of it until they play again. And even then, I mean, LeBron James coming home to Cleveland and the New York Knicks beat him. I mean, that's something that is epic. That goes down as one of my favorite basketball games in history. It's just
that's a good thing, and it would bother me if the Knicks weren't 2-6 right now.
That's okay.
Season. I understand because I do understand anytime and the Knicks beat a LeBron-led team.
It's not even that. It's him coming home to Cleveland, the hype and everything, and how he threw an outlet. Kevin Love threw an outlet pass to him, and they're all, oh, look at him, and then they lose. It was so great.
They lost. They lost at the beginning of the season.
Hey,
that's fine.
That's
fine. The first game back for LeBron James, and he lost. Maybe that's what he's depressed about. Maybe he's not getting over that.
Maybe that might be it. Maybe it be a mental thing from there. Like, we lost to a team and didn't make the playoffs, and most likely won't make the playoffs this year.
I know that does suck for them.
It kind of bothers them. But you know what? I think that he'll shrug it off and he'll be good, because
doesn't look
they
like
are
like 2
starting
weeks
to
later. He's still
build
crying.
up the chemistry. But I mean, that might be his new thing for this season. But we did have a couple of injuries. Marcus Smart, rookie point guard, drafted by the Celtics. He's going to be out for a couple of weeks. He actually got carried off the field the other night, so he's going to be out for a little bit, which means that Rondo's going to have a little bit more pressure on him. And Ricky Rubio, Minnesota Timberwolves point guard, is going to be out indefinitely.
That's almost not a surprise at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, Rubio's injured every year. It's just
that time.
That's why he was mad at Kevin Love, because he knew he was going to get hurt and nobody was going to be able to help him out. So
Exactly. So there you go. We had a couple of Rookie of the Years in baseball announced. I think it was pretty clear on Jose Abreu's side, because that was a unanimous decision. And then Jacob deGrom, he got the National League Rookie of the Year in baseball. waiting on those MVPs and those Cy Young announcements, but they'll be coming in soon, so we will keep you guys posted with that. Make sure you check us out on the web, realfansrealtalk.com, also on Twitter at realfantalk, Instagram at realfantalk, and on Facebook, facebook.com/realfansrealtalk. And also join the group because we'll most likely be talking about those awards right on the Real Fans Real Talk group page, so you can check us out in there. And if you have any other questions or if you just want to write us up for a show topic, you can hit us up, fan mail at realfansrealtalk.com. And I'm going to jump into these fan mail questions right here because Pablo Sandoval, who was one of the top free agents to turn down his $15.3 million qualifying offer. Martin from Gainesville writes, are you surprised that none of the big name Major League Baseball free agents signed the $15.3 million qualifying offer? I'm going to say no because these guys want their money, and they want to be locked into. They don't want to be that 1 year because who knows what's going to happen in a year. So they want long-term deals. They want 6, 7, 8 years, 9 years, 10 years.
It's not going to jump at the first thing thrown at you. The season just ended. You know? I mean, you got plenty of time to mull over different offers from different teams.
Even though it's a nice check.
I mean, it is. I'll take half of that, but
then you get injured, and then the next year come up, then your money goes down significantly. So you got to think about.
It depends on how you're spending it too, but you got to diversify your bonds.
That is true. That is true. We got one more question. Charles from the Bronx writes: should the Yankees go after Pablo Sandoval and Scherzer? And I would say yes on both accounts.
I mean, come on.
I mean, like, I don't care. We need pitching. We need hitters. We need everything right now.
I can play 3 positions. Come on.
Yeah, now. I would say go out on the spin.
This is the same team that got the best shortstop in the league when they already had a shortstop. So I mean. They just move A-Rod to third base. I mean, if you got a big name guy out there in free agency, the Yankees are gonna go after him, and I'm obviously all for it. They need all the help they can get.
They're already going after Chase Headley because they feel like A-Rod is not gonna last throughout the season at third base, so they prepare for him to get injured as well. Plus his newfound. I don't know, man. It's something new on A-Rod every week. I'm just tired of A-Rod, the whole.
He feels like just confessing everything that happened in the past. You know what? He might actually just have a good year. I'm hoping he does.
I hope so too.
For the Yankees, so,
I really do. I hope so too. Because the more stuff that comes out, it's just like, yo, come on, man.
Well,
enough is enough.
At this point, it's like you already got in trouble. You know, you can play.
But
now.
new stuff keeps coming out. The stuff with his cousin, when he's paying, he tried to pay him all off, and the wife, they blow. I don't know. It's just too much going on. But listen, Statman, I'm gonna do you a favor. It's about that time for shot. That's the official trademark.
Ladies, you can catch him out in Brooklyn.
Real
Saturday
Fans
night.
Talk game, shot for shot. Where 2 contestants will battle it out. 5 questions. You get a point. If you are right, if you guys both disagree, then no point is awarded. We go on to.
We both agree.
If we both agree, yeah, because I'm actually in it this year because I'm the 3-time champion right now.
Yeah, go ahead and do that to the judge. That's a good strategy.
But it is what it is, and the losing contestant will have to wear team apparel of a team that they hate.
Yeah, team apparel, not player apparel.
But,
he actually said he feels sorry for him now, so that doesn't.
So we gotta get something else. So maybe we'll get you an Eagles jersey or something.
We have to find like a baby hat or something.
Before we start shop for
get you a Donovan McNabb bib.
Before we start shop for shot, I would like to say Happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there. We have the Army-Navy game in the background throughout the broadcast. Shout out to my brother Robert, who's a veteran, and all the other veterans out there. Happy Veterans Day. Once again, 5 questions unless we go to overtime. 1 judge, 2 contestants. If both contestants agree, no point is awarded. Starting with question 1, the challenger goes first, which would be Sean. After being completely dominated by Kovalev, is it now time for B-Hop Bernard Hopkins to retire?
Bernard Hopkins, a.k.a. I learned how to fight in jail. A.k.a. I'm like somebody's grandfather's beating somebody up. At 55, 7, and 2, it's been time for him to retire. He's 49 years old. He turns 50 in a matter of 2 months. Like, he should have been gave it up. I mean, come on. Give it up. Come on. All right, yes.
I would have to agree with you. I mean, I thought it was time 2 years ago. Again, so I would have to agree. I think it is time for B-Hop to give it up. I don't think that he will, just because the way he got beat down. I don't think he wants to go out like that. So I think he's gonna try to get one more fight in, but
beat up
he
somebody.
should definitely retire. I don't even think that the boxing commission should sanction another fight for Bernard Hopkins. That should be the end of it right there.
I mean, but he's been winning before that, so at
but
the same time,
he hasn't got beat like this. Like, this is a
this
beating he
is,
took.
I mean, he could fight somebody less talented just to at least get off with a win. Plus, I know he wouldn't be the first fighter over age 50, but I'm sure he wants to win a fight over age 50. He'll probably have one more last fight. I do agree, though, he should have quit a couple of years ago, but I mean, he was still winning. I find it awkward that he went out there just recently. Myself and Trip Young were talking about it last week on the show, complaining how there's no media attention at him with all the things he's accomplishing at an old age. And he says it's because he's black, and I threw out the George Foreman reference automatically, so I don't. Maybe he's just not a flashy type of guy that gets that type of attention. But I think he will have one more fight, because I don't think he wants to go out like that, and I think that he wants to have a fight over the age of 50. But
if he's smart, I'm going to fight with Floyd Mayweather as one of those undercard fights or something like that. And possibly that's the way for him to get his money up, so he can leave and so he can just do us his service in life and just go ahead.
Yeah, announce it as your last fight to get those, to make it like more of a media thing. Announce it as your last fight. You're going to fight so-and-so where you kind of figure you're going to win, and then just,
walk out on top.
Saturday night fights aren't going to work
into the
for you.
sunset. Yeah, that's over. It's over for that.
All right, so both of you agree, no point is awarded. Question number 2, are the 8-1 Cardinals still a threat to make the Super Bowl now that Carson Palmer is done for the season? This goes to you first, Trip.
To make it to the Super Bowl, you know what? I got to say yes, because, I mean, Drew Stanton, we saw him earlier in the year with the Cardinals. They have a lot of weapons on offense, and he's familiar with those guys. He's won with them before. And it's the NFC, where we're looking at, even the Seahawks are not the same team that they were last year. And I don't think there's one team that just completely dominated the NFC outside of the Cardinals, really the way that they did it, that would say, well, I don't think they can make it back. Because I think any one of these teams in the NFC could make it to the Super Bowl, so I think they still have a chance. I mean, the Eagles, Cowgirls, they both look good right now.
Just rolls off your tongue.
But there are, I mean, we don't know if this is going to be the Sanchez that we're going to get for the rest of the season. Because I mean, the last time we actually saw Mark Sanchez playing football, it wasn't good. And I know he came in and did well, and I do want him to do well, but you don't know, because that's not what we've seen of Mark Sanchez. So if we're going by what we know of him, I don't put 100% of my faith in Mark Sanchez. And then the Cowgirls, they just, I mean, Tony Romo, he's just not proven in the playoffs. We don't know if he can actually make it to the playoffs, sustain that lead, and not blow it again. And then if he actually gets to the playoffs, can he actually win a game?
The Cowboys might have to get him life alert.
Yeah.
If all of them, I can't get up my back.
Let alone
That's the last
3
thing we
games
need.
and make it to the Super Bowl. So I still got to say yes.
Yeah, I'm about to agree with you. At this point in time, it's too early to call. I mean, maybe after a few more games, you can possibly say no, but they're 8 games in. I mean, they can win, let's say, 3 or 4 more games, and they're in the playoffs. So it's like,
you put them in the AFC, I say no, just because you got the Broncos and the Patriots over there. But in the NFC, Stanton, he's no slouch. He came in and it was pretty much the same thing that they were getting, with Carson Palmer. I think those receivers and that defense is amazing. The special teams is great. So I think that they still can win it or get there. Excuse me.
I mean, you guys both agree, but it's still, the Packers, the Saints, Graham's back. The Saints are a different team with him back. I mean,
aren't they just coming
the
off of a loss
Seahawks.
this past Sunday?
But once the playoff time comes, I don't see, a backup quarterback, leading the team through experienced, guys like Rodgers and Breeze or whoever he ends up facing, even the Cowgirls or the Eagles. Like, it's just, I get that they'll have most likely finished the season with a pretty good record. Their competition isn't that great going forward. So
if you look at teams like the 49ers, the Seahawks, the Ravens, the teams that dominate the last couple of years, they've been led by defensive teams. They haven't been. Peyton hasn't won a Super Bowl in a while. Brady in a while. I mean, Giants won it. But, I mean, the Giants had really great defenses the years that they won it, too. And that's not taking it away from Eli, because I think Eli played amazing, too. But they had great defenses as well. It wasn't one of the quote-unquote top 5 quarterbacks in the league, with the exception of Rodgers, who won it. But he also had a really good defense that year as well.
I'm still not sold on the Cardinals.
We're talking about
it's still pretty shocking. But, I mean, making the playoffs, they're there. But, I mean, to make it to the Super Bowl, they got to win 2 games.
They're going to have home field advantage as well.
I said that already, but I still don't think, that, second-string quarterback is going to lead them to the Super Bowl. But it would be interesting to see. But question number 3, still both 0-0. Is Pablo Sandoval worth the 6-year contract he is requesting?
Well, he's 28, but the thing is, I know they're kind of on the, on the edge of the table because he's had like some weight issues. A lot of these players, the players that end up having the weight issues are the guys that end up being on the DH, and he's a very talented player. He's ambidextrous. He can throw with both his left and his right.
Big words. Ding,
he's
ding,
ambidextrous, yes. I actually did some research before.
If this was another show, you'd get 3 points just for that.
The money that he wants, I think he has to control his weight, and if he possibly wants that money, he has to get it down. Is he worth the 6-year that he's requesting? I'm going to say yes. As of right now, he had a great postseason. He was doing his thing.
The man got 2, World Series championships, and he played ball in both of them, and he's only 28 years old. 3. Yeah. He's only 28 years old, so we're talking about he'll be 34 at the end of that contract, And if you look at, you want to talk about the wage issues. Look at David Ortiz. Look how long he's been around and been hitting the ball very well. Just hasn't been like the last, 2-3 years with, obviously because he's a lot older. But, we're talking about somebody that's 28 years old. A lot of these guys are big guys, you know what I mean? And they're still dominating. So I would say, yes, he's definitely worth it.
Yeah, when you have the weight issues, combine that with a 6-year contract, he's going to be slouching after that.
That's actually a steal for them, because he might have wanted a 10-year, then it's going to be bad. Yeah. So at least you got them 6 years.
I think he'll still be, a good player, even at age 34. So I agree. Because
even if he's just DHing, whatever, it's fine.
Okay, question number 4. Love fest here going on. Score 0-0. Over or under 5 games before the 76ers get their first win.
They are a very bad team.
Bring AI back
right now. Actually, he might help them to get that next win, but
Julius, come on.
I have to actually go with the over on that. They're just a horrible team, and I don't understand it. I know Michael Carter-Williams isn't there right now, so they're even worse than they were. And I don't know.
Roten filled in nicely. He's been balling, but
Michael Carter-Williams, he's just really good. And the size of Michael Carter-Williams is another difference maker, because that's 6'6" running the point. But I just don't think they're that good, and I think it's going to take a little while. So I'm going to say over 5 games. They're just horrible.
Well, coming up, they have Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, Boston, and Phoenix. Definitely not beating Dallas. Definitely not beating Houston. You most definitely not beating San Antonio. Maybe Boston, maybe Phoenix.
Well, Phoenix is actually really good. I don't think they have a chance. I think Boston will probably be the only team they have a chance with.
Yeah.
But they're horrible.
But Rondo is
still there. Rondo's actually looking good. He's almost at a triple double every night.
And then after that, they have the Knicks.
That's game 6, though. That's
game 6.
So you know what? Just definitely over. I'm definitely going with the over on that one.
And
shots fired, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, it's all good. But the way they play, I've checked out a few games and I saw some stuff online. From the beginning from the first through the third quarter, they actually play like they want to win the game. At the end during the fourth quarter, they just can't finish it. So I don't know, man. It's just like these next few teams that they have coming up, they have that killer instinct, and they're playing right now the way they need to be playing. You playing 3 veteran squads coming up. You're playing Boston that they are always a pretty polished squad. Phoenix, they're playing pretty good right now. It's kind of rough. You know what? I'll say under. They can possibly beat Boston, just to be different.
Why you gotta be different?
Just 'cause, man. I'm me.
Are they home at Boston at least? I want to try to give you the point, but you don't gotta worry about the love fest things,
Yeah,
man.
man.
You could just go with what you believe in, man. The point goes to Trip Young. They're not beating even Boston with
Yeah, I
Rondo
don't think
there.
so. Rondo is showing that he's going to be moved.
You got
He's
Green,
definitely
the center,
showcasing
Kelly
that.
Olynyk, whatever. It's
Yeah.
like
man.
they're all right. You know, Philly's not.
Right?
Yeah, they're horrible. Maybe if Michael Carter Williams was coming back, I might give them a better chance against the Celtics, but it's bad out there, man. They need to have everybody healthy.
Which team with a losing record has been more disappointing? The New York Knicks at 2-5 or the San Antonio Spurs at 2-3?
Well, because of the old man Spurs, they always seem to play around and make the playoffs. I'm going to have to say that it's the Knicks. All this hype and all this hoopla was coming to New York with the triangle offense is really the triangle Carmelo offense, and they can't get it down. I mean, after last season, after last season, coming in this year, you would think that they, like I said, they would be on all cylinders. I mean, the 2-5 Knicks right now, they have to be the disappointment right now at this point in the season. The Spurs, they do stuff like this all the time. And they seem to come in and win championships and go on these crazy runs. So I'm going to say the 2-5 Knicks because this is New York, the big city of dreams. You bought Phil Jackson, you bought D. Fish, and you got the triangle Carmelo offense, and it's still not working.
D. Fish, was that I know.
Well, I'm definitely going to have to go with the Knicks for the simple fact that they're actually healthy. The Spurs don't have Kawhi Leonard right now, who was their finals MVP, and he's, the best of those young guys with the fresh legs who can actually, who contributes on both sides of the ball. And he is the future of the Spurs, and he hasn't been there, so I'm not going to be too hard on the Spurs right now because he is a big part of that team on both ends of the ball. So I would have to agree and say it is the Knicks. I mean, like you said, we had Phil was there. Fisher was coming in to run the triangle offense. It's going to be so great. Melo stayed, and
Before the season started, most Knicks fans kind of accepted the fact that it's going to take some time to perfect the triangle offense.
Yeah, but
so
I didn't think they were actually because they actually 2-6 because they lost last night.
I'm not actually disappointed because number one, one of the two wins was against Cleveland at Cleveland for LeBron's homecoming. So that, we could lose every game the rest of the season. I'm happy with that.
You see what the expectations are of Knicks fans at this point. You guys got to get it together. When the highlight of the Knicks fans' career is seeing them beat
highlight
Cleveland
of a LeBron James hater
in their opening game, and he says they can lose every other game. As long as they won that one game, it's all good. That's what your fans have left to aspire to, Knicks. So you need to get it together.
True.
That was real fans, real stat man talk.
Yeah.
That was more for comical reasons, but at the same time, I saw a meme with Carmelo Anthony, and it said the Knicks running the triangle offense, and it shows Carmelo holding the ball with a triangle drawn to the basket.
It's just not a good look for the Knicks, but I mean that is shot for shot. So that means I'm now on a 4-peat right now. 4 shot for shot sessions.
Something
in a
LeBron
row.
James will never do in his career.
He might not, but as long as Trip Young continues to do what I got to do, I'm going to still be winning. I need to bring my theme music back for times like this. When you get 4 in a row, this is not easy to do. So when you get 4 in a row, you gotta have your theme music ready.
You can always feel sorry because the Giants lost.
But I'm winning. So that's what matters. I'm winning here. I'm winning in fantasy football. Actually, I got you this week, Fontaine.
Winning Beta Awards.
Next year, winning the Beta Awards. I'm on a little streak right now. So we're gonna keep it moving. It is time for this day in sports history. I'm gonna start it off. 1943, Spud Chandler wins the American League MVP, and Stan Musial wins the National League MVP.
In 1946, the New York Knicks' first game at Madison Square Garden a 78-68 loss to Chicago Stags.
I guess
That's
Cleveland
almost
wasn't
like,
the only one to lose on opening night.
yeah,
They lost
I
on
was thinking the
opening
same
night.
thing.
when the whole Garden opened up. I think that's a bit worse. When you lose and you have the mecca of basketball and you lose that game, I think that's a little rougher. But it's the Knicks, so I digress.
They had a second in
But,
Madison
go ahead,
Square Garden,
Fontaine.
so
Hey,
it's
hey.
fine.
This very day in 1987, Roger Clemens went to second consecutive Cy Young Award. Next one.
Yeah.
All right. Also, this very day in 1997, Roger Clemens wins his 4th Cy Young Award. He's the man.
That was when he was bowling. We got a couple
He's
of
the
birthdays. Happy birthday, Vinny Testaverde and Matt Garza. Statman, you want to give us a little quick rundown on what's going on with your Rangers in the NHL?
No, not really. I'm not but
Listen.
I don't get too concerned with the beginning of the season last year.
Are
we
they
didn't
going to
start-
get back to the playoffs is my question.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Well,
Not a
the
doubt
Kings
in my
been playing
mind.
like some. So hey,
I think that they'll be, they'll still be good. I think they can get back to the playoffs as well. We got a lot of college football. I know your Seminoles are playing well. Auburn, they took a loss this past week, so that kind of hurt them a bit because they got dropped pretty low in the rankings, and they're gonna probably go down again once the new rankings come out. Yeah, because they're gonna drop as soon as the new rankings come out.
Well,
Which should be out at some point within probably like the next hour or so. It should be out, the new rankings.
you got a big game coming up this weekend. Mississippi is playing Alabama, so that's possibly going to see who's going to come in towards the bottom
Yeah.
of that top 4, because
That's definitely going to
Playoffs are
affect
coming
that
up.
playoff final 4 that make it to the playoffs. This is going to be a huge game. Actually, Alabama, we said last week, 3 out of their last 4 games were against teams that were ranked, and it's going to be a rough road for them to get back into that 4. Right now, they're not in the top 5, so I think that with the win over LSU, that helps them. And then if they can beat Mississippi State next week, that pretty much will solidify a spot for them. Florida State, they don't have any tough games left, so I think that they're going to be fine.
no.
Where they are.
We always have tough. We have some
Well,
rivalry
against,
games. Florida, some of those guys.
Well, they have Florida, but I mean that's a rivalry game, so it's big in that regard. But as far as them playing in a top 7 against a top 7 ranked opponent,
If you know me like I know my Seminoles, listen, we don't get worried, but we know that, at any given time that the games can be close. Just like you know.
I agree. But at the same time, I like to see a lot of these teams. I like to see them in the SEC.
Yeah, definitely.
You
definitely,
come in that
definitely.
SEC is no, that's when you see who the best of the best is. That's why it's so rough to decide amongst those teams. And every year, somebody else steps in, somebody else falls back. But they usually, dominate in the top 25, all of those SEC teams.
Definitely.
We've talked about it before, 14 playoffs. This is kind of a new thing with college football. Do you think we're going to see an addition of teams next year? You think it's going to stay the same at 4? Or what do you think, Sean?
I think the 4 teams for this first year is real cool. I mean, it adds more excitement towards the end of the year because, in years past, certain teams, they was going to get a bowl game. When you had your national championship game, it was coming up after New Year. But I think maybe 8 teams could possibly be a good thing, just to add a little bit more excitement. Because you might have one of those sleepers at the 7 or the 8 spot, or maybe even at the 5 spot or whatever. So, and not in the next few years, maybe 10 plus years, they'll possibly add more teams to that. But right now, they're probably going to stick to 4 because they want to get this down pack or whatever. Because they had so many people coming at them over the BCS the past few years, over a lot of years.
Yeah, they
But then you're going to have people coming with the 5th seed. How come they didn't make it?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
And then if you have 8, then the 9 seed's going to be complaining how come they didn't make it. There's always going to be people unhappy. So
Yeah, so you just gotta go. But 4 is just too little. But we are running a little bit low on time, and this is our first episode fresh off of the betas. So it would not be right if we didn't bring our crew out here with us. So I'm gonna just let our programming director get a quick, minute on the mic, just say his thank yous and whatnot, because I know he got some people that he wants to thank. And Handle Gomez, Abdurrahim, thank you for working with us and keeping us on point. Take it away.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you to my family, my God, to Mark, Sean, and Anthony for putting me down and making sure that we get something to work in sports because, you know, I have a big history in sports. And I want to be able to share that with you guys so we can keep moving. And hopefully, with God's blessing and our hard work, we get somewhere where we're supposed to be. You know, that's what I really want. That's my goal, to make sure that the four of us get to a top show, to get paid. And maybe, you know, we could still dress the same because we are fans and we're going to keep it that way. You know, we don't need to be in suits, but it doesn't hurt to have a nice Armani suit here and there. Like I said, I guess we got 3 now. So I guess Mark got one, I got one. You can have one. You can keep the old one at home. So next year we'll work out for one, and then Sean can get one the next one, and you know, things like that.
Happy to be here.
But again, it's always a pleasure. I know, like I said before on Marin's show, that, you know, we dig deep. I like to dig deep into it and try to get the best talent that we got every day, you know. So that's about it. I love you guys, and, you know, that's about it. I love my family. I love all my friends. Born Crazy's in the house. And Real Fans, Real Talk, we're going to do it again, and we're going to keep doing and getting better and better every time. All right? Thank you. I got to go back upstairs so we can close out the show on this beautiful day of Veterans Day. God bless all our veterans, and God bless America, and let's stay strong.
How about those Cowboys?
How about those guys? Oh, Marshawn Lynch time.
No, we also, before we cut that off, we also have to again shout out our interns, JoJo and Shakira. Both of them, neither one of them are here today, but when they get back, we're gonna let them have a little time on the mic. Shakira's actually away at school, so she's gonna send us hers via video clip. And we'll play that for you guys as soon as she gets it in. JoJo should be back the next time we're back in the studio. So,
JoJo.
Statman, you want to just let them know the showtime for Thursday, where we're going to be at?
Yeah, we are live not only every Tuesday at 5:30 on BronxNet Television, we also air live on Brooklyn Public Network every Thursday, 8 p.m. In the Bronx, it's Verizon Channel 44. For Brooklyn residents, Time Warner 56 and Cablevision Optimum Channel 69. Also live on the web. Just go to realfansrealtalk.com for more info. Make sure you like us on Facebook. We'll post a live stream for you guys to check it out. Facebook.com/realfansrealtalk. Our Twitter address @realfantalk. Email us any questions or comments. Fanmail @realfansrealtalk.com. Also, our individual contact information is on the realfansrealtalk.com website. And if you want to get in on the daily debate, just search Real Fans Real Talk on Facebook for the group page, and you can battle out the sports topics with the rest of the Real Fans Real Talk community. Final thoughts segment of the program, ladies and gentlemen.
Start it off.
All right, I'm just going to go back to Happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there and thank everyone, Handel, Trip Young, Face Facts from Brooklyn, Sean Fontaine, even the guys from the past, the intern Tommy, and everybody that was with us along the way. Definitely want to thank all you guys, and we're bigger and better things coming besides the Beta Awards, but we do love those Beta Awards.
Fontaine.
I just want to say Happy Veterans Day again to everybody that's out there who served our country. We appreciate you. I know it's a tough job, you know, early nights, early days, late nights, you know, sweat, pain, sweat, blood, and tears. You know, we appreciate you guys. Thank you.
That's right. And make sure y'all continue to tune in because we got a lot of big things coming up. Before the year's out, we're going to bring UFC fighter Pat Walsh. He was on that UFC 19. We also got middleweight boxing champion
Ultimate Fighter 19.
Danny Jacobs, who will also be joining us here on the show. So make sure you guys tune in for that, man. We
Terrible
Tim
Witherspoon as well.
And Terrible Tim Witherspoon. We bringing y'all the biggest stuff, man. We bringing y'all who y'all want to see. So make sure y'all rock with us. RealFansRealTalk.com, Facebook.com/RealFansRealTalk. Twitter, Instagram @RealFanTalk. And with that being said, for myself,
try to do better next time.
Marcus Statman, Skevin, Sean Fontaine, Handle upstairs in the booth. We are out.
Throwing at the competition.
Shots fired.
The light lost alone in darkness, but together